Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Not Another Rangers podcast. It's your Monday night edition, and I'm your host, Gary. You will see there's only two of us at the moment. There may be more to join at some point, but at the moment it's just the two of us. So we will hopefully be able to capture your attention for the best part of the next hour. And Scott, sorry, 8:31. We are late. We're always 8:31. You should get used to it. It seems to be that's a usual weekly occurrence. We have no Scott tonight. Scott is either working late or he's nothing else to say after Friday because nothing's happened in terms of games. One or the other. Ricky, who knows?
He's doing January and February for this calendar that he requested on Friday, so he's getting the shots done for that for Windass. So that's where he is. He's in his speedos getting pictures done for the calendar for next year.
That is a frightening thought, isn't it? Do you know that's Jingle take the baseball cap off, isn't it?
No chat. One with a baseball cap on his head and one with a baseball cap over his tadger.
Anyway, on that note, we will move on. So, welcome everybody. It's been a bit of a strange weekend because there's not been any games. You know, it's been a little bit different. You know, I believe there were Scottish Cup games going on. I never paid any attention to them, and I'm not going to. We are focused on bigger things than that in the European environment rather than just in Scotland. Domestic stuff's no for us. I think that's the way to put it. How are you doing, Ricky? How's your weekend?
No, yeah, good, mate. It was enjoyable. No Rangers to ruin the weekend. I think that's been the call from all Rangers fans this weekend. It was nice to get a break. Hopefully the players have been hard at it, getting ready for the big game on Thursday. I think Ferguson gave them a few days off, so that doesn't normally work out good for us in the past, having a full week before a match, but we'll see. But no, good. Looking forward to getting into it tonight, Gary. I don't know where Ross is. If anyone knows where Ross is, he's supposed to be on the pod, so give him a call and tell him to get his ass on the pod.
Nice. So I think of what we're going to talk about tonight. So there is obviously there was a game. It was a big game last week. There's a bigger game this week. We've got a chance to pick up on some of the stuff around 49ers and some of the stuff around the manager. But in the comments, please put in questions, topics, anything you want to discuss. You have our attention. We will try and capture them and pick up some of the stuff. I think first thing, we would all want to talk about is it's been a bit strange. You say not having a game at the weekend. It felt a little bit redundant. You were kind of wondering what to do with your time. And we've still been enjoying, I suppose, and making the most of what was a fantastic win on Thursday night against Fenerbahce.
Yeah, still buzzing, mate. Still buzzing from Thursday night. The performance has been good to take in. I like taking in all our haters. I like listening to what all our haters have got to say after Rangers play so well in Europe. So I listen to some different podcasts just because I like to see them trying to downplay it and say how bad Fenerbahce was and stuff like that. But no, mate, it was a night where everything went absolutely perfect. I don't know who runs that UEFA website, but they absolutely love Rangers every single time I go on X. I say it's the Rangers goals. Even tonight I went on for 5 minutes and he was comparing our goals to Braga goals, saying these were the best football goals of the night, and it was actually Czerny's first goal and the pass from Dessers, and then Braga scored an absolute great goal as well. It was like very fast, 6 passes into the number 9, and then he put it in the corner. I think they're going to knock out Olympiacos. So no, it was a fantastic night. But I tell you what, it's going to be tough on Thursday. I'm not sitting here thinking that we're through. We can't be too confident and take anything for granted. I don't believe this crap that these players can't play at Ibrox. Our record before Queen's Park, we had the best record in Scotland at home until that Queen's Park game, and then it's completely evaporated and switched around. I think so. I'm not worried about it because Ibrox, I hope the fans get right behind the players. We normally we're able to get an early goal in these games, and then the place is absolutely rocking. So it's been good. It was nice at the weekend just to bask in Thursday night's performance, watch it back, watch the goals again, take in all the content, and it not be ruined by us going away to Ross County and losing 2-1, and we're pissed off with the players again, and we're doing a podcast tonight saying, "Oh, Dessers is shite. Tav, get rid of him, take the captains off him." So that's how the season's been every time. It's been Europe high, the league low. So it's been nice this weekend, and we can look forward to the game on Thursday, mate.
Definitely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pick up questions as I see them. I've got an agenda, but there's a chance to say it's just the two to pick up a lot of the questions. Though they're going to be in any random order that I see them, so they're not following a flow. The first one I see from Paul McCorrickle was another share issue done. I did see that earlier on. Now I think it's supposed to raise them at £5.4 million. I'm not sure what the rationale behind it is. If it's just money to get us through at the end of the season, or whether it's to do with something to do with the takeover. But it's for the second share issue in the last couple of months. It's meant to generate income, I think, Rick, in it.
I think it just shows you how much we do need a takeover, because it's like you said, we did one a few months ago, and then we're having to do one 3 months later to raise £5.5 million. These shares are diluted to death. I think I read, was it 26.7 million shares released today, which is, it doesn't look great. I don't think this has got, in my opinion, I don't think it's got anything to do with the takeover. I think it's about like paying everything until the end of the season. So, but I mean, the finances of the club is in such dire straits. As I said to you before we came on air, I just watched that Jim Ratcliffe interview with Gary Neville about Man United, and us and Man United are so similar. We're like a smaller version of them because we're playing Scotland when it comes to the financial side. But both clubs, half the squad not available, wages that are way too high for the crap that the players don't, most of them don't deserve it. It's the same half of the squad contributing all the time. So the similarities are absolutely incredible. So I did see that today, and hopefully we get some good news soon that this takeover's going to be done, and we can put all this bad period of our history in the past.
Yeah. I'm picking up more of these questions as we're going through. So, yes, multiple 170. It is like trying to get rid of a 5-side team, if not worse at times, to get people on the podcast. You're waiting until the very last minute knowing if they're going to be there. So, what you can always rely on, probably me, Ricky, or Scott are probably going to be there, because we've sadly either nowhere else to be, or know how to work the controls. Probably that's as much as anything else.
Ross will appear. He always does, man. I think he likes to have this big entrance. You know, he's like, he calls me a wrestler. This Jerry Lawler, whoever that beep is, but he'll make an appearance. He'll make an appearance 20 minutes into the pod, have a suit on, dress like he's going to court. You know what he's like, man. I can still see him coming on before the end of the show.
So old Barry Barry's got this question. I quite like this one, you know, it's because this was one of the things on the agenda. I mean, if and when we go through on Thursday, right? So, and to be fair, as you say, Ibrox at home, 3-1 up, feels better like Dortmund in the second leg of there, which should be a good shout. Who would you want next time? It's obviously a choice between Roma or Atletico Bilbao. Your preference, Ricky, would be, and who and why?
I saw people just for our fantastic away support. I think it would be nice to go to Rome for the next leg, and because we'll be in the final in Spain for Bilbao, so we don't want to go there twice. You know, let's keep that until we get to the final. And as I said on Friday's pod, once you get to this round in this competition, it doesn't really matter who you get. I think we're capable of, on our day, beating all of these teams, and these teams are capable of beating all of us. This is the Europa League. It's very, very competitive, but all the teams are capable of knocking each other out, and all the teams are capable of going through. I love it. That's what I love about this competition. Listen, we'd rather be in the Champions League for the money, but I tell you what, Gary, once you get to this round of the Europa League, the last 3 or 4 years, if you were to try and pick who was going to win, it's very, very, very difficult to choose, because there's so many shocks, so many surprises, and that's what makes this a really good competition.
There's no way that the top 8 that's expected to go through are going to be the 8 that go through. That never happens. You know, it takes you back to that year. Remember when Barcelona were supposed to cruise to the final, weren't they, in Dortmund, and then it turned out that it was obviously somebody else. Who was it again? Oh, it was Rangers.
And Frankfurt as well, man. Frankfurt knocking out Barcelona, and I think the result, I can't remember the score was. I remember the score was mad. It was like 4-3, or it was like a mad game of football, that one. So no, you do get some great drama in the Europa League. So for me, Roma away, that would be a nice. What about you? I think you said the same. You'd rather.
I suppose the Roma away one's interesting, because you're expecting Lazio to be. Whatever it was now, they should beat the team, and that means that we play the second leg at Ibrox. That's the big thing for me. You know, it's bringing them back to Ibrox potentially for the second leg, when you've got the atmosphere, a quarter final, chance to make a semi-final. That sounds a bit more exciting. Although, to be fair, our European record away from home is pretty exceptional the last couple of years. So it's not as if we should have any fear. Sometimes we play better away from home in that counter-attacking style.
Yeah, I saw an interview today with Derek Clark. I think he did a good interview. They were speaking about the Moroccan coach that we've got, and they were saying that Assam, he likes that the formation. They reckon he had a lot to do with the formation that Ferguson chose, because that's the way his Moroccan under-21 team won that tournament with some great young players. So they were saying on the pod today that they reckon he had a big influence, because that's exactly how his team played. It was the setup. They could see so many. They were interested watching the game to see, and they could see so many similarities with the way that he used to play with his Moroccan team. So I mean, again, it's good if these guys are bouncing off each other. You see the way that Dessers is playing and stuff like that. Then it's only going to benefit us, and we've got two massive games this week. I mean, it's people are saying, "Oh, we've got none to play for" and stuff like that, and it's disappointing we're so far behind in the league. But I'm a lot more excited going into this Rangers Celtic game than I was the last one, that's for sure. So hopefully we can get a good result,
So keep picking up, just we'll keep going through the questions as I can see them. So Aaron's gave us a question: what top 3 players would you sign from the SPL, and what positions, and what do we need them? I don't know, Ricky, do you want to go first?
I'll go. Well, obviously the obvious one. I don't
Let's say Lennon Miller, please. No.
Well, it has to be Lennon Miller in midfield, because he's the best young player. He's the best young player, and I've got a big bee in my bonnet with this. The way that we've acted as a club in the last 10 years with Scottish players, and some of the, like, especially Ferguson. Oh my God, man, how we let him get away when he's as big a Rangers fan as you can ever imagine. You hear his dad speaking about him all the time. They are proper Rangers fans. So for the fact he's not playing for us, and he went to Bologna when he wanted to play for us, was just a crime. So I know Lennon Miller's not a Rangers fan or anything like that, but if we had the money, that would be the first one I would be going for.
So, do you know, actually I quite liked, and this is because I've seen a wee bit of the game yesterday, well, it was still in the balance, then I turned off when it was finished. It's the boy, is it Josh Campbell? Do you know, as a squad player, or the two, the Caddens? I'm not saying they're necessarily first team picks, but you need to build a squad. Guys, like our squads are built, and Alex Cleland and Gary Bollinger the other days. Some of those are decent options. And perhaps I've got a few players that you think can maybe add a bit to the squad, not to the first 11.
He did his hamstring yesterday. Shame for the Karen brother, because he was going to be in the Scotland squad. They've been flying, both of them. I mean, Hibs have been, to be fair to Hibs, I mean, we're no Rangers fans or Hibs lovers. We absolutely detest Hibs, but they've done well to come back to get into third position, and the Cadden brothers have been flying. I like Penrice at Hearts, the left back. I think he would be a good signing for us, but the problem is with Hearts is they want stupid money when they get these players under contracts. I mean, the money they were wanting for Shankland a few years ago was absolutely ridiculous. So it would probably be the same. But Penrice and Miller, and if we're billionaires, why do we not sign Maeda for striker? That'll get the people speaking in the comments.
Ricky, that's not going to go down.
That was a joke. That was a joke before we get out.
I suppose that, I mean, obviously the other ones that people talk about lots is guys like Shankland, Danny Armstrong, people like that are cheap, you know, and are free to that matter. And obviously I've got Rangers connections, Rangers fans. Penrice is obviously a good fullback, and you're looking probably at potentially Yilmaz to go and take for there. See, in terms of, I suppose if you've got these players, we need to build a squad. One of the things that's lacked this season is actually depth. I mean, I don't think any is thinking the first 11, when it's all fit, isn't comparable to other teams in the league. But where we've fallen down has been all these injuries and not necessarily having the depth to actually compete.
Yeah, the guy's on about Dalby from Dundee United. That's a good shout.
About the Wrexham, is that a Wrexham player?
Yeah, I mean, he's been excellent for Dundee United.
He's still a top scorer in Scotland.
Yeah, puts himself about, gets in the end of things. I think he would be. I'm getting red cards left, right, and centre in the comments. It was a joke, boys. Calm down. We're no signing Maeda. No, so there is we need that many players, because we've got still 6 or 7 that are injured all the time. Fair play to you, Gary. You've been beating we were all beating the Danilo drum. Many of us saying, "Oh, Danilo needs to be playing. Danilo this, Danilo that." Again, not available enough this season. Dessers, he can be up and down, but he's been absolutely fantastic since Ferguson. The boy Wales as well, great shout. He's for free
Have you
as
seen
well,
that boy,
out of contract.
Kieran Bowie?
So,
I've seen him a few times. He's looked a decent player. I don't know where he's came for that boy Bowie.
who?
Perhaps. Is it Bowie, the
Okay,
history?
yeah. I mean, there is a lot of talent in Scotland, but the thing is, we need to be challenging Celtic, and that's the thing. I mean, these guys have probably got their own ideas, but I would like to see a Scottish core in our squad. I think if we had, I don't know if we've got enough of that, and actually we've got in our obviously in our management team now. So, like Wales, if you can get Wales back, then I would take that. Mail back in defence. I don't know. Is
I'm
he
not a huge
strong
fan.
enough?
I think he's a decent enough player. I wouldn't think I think he would
No,
struggle to get a game.
I don't think he's. I don't think Mayo's the answer for us. But I like some of these suggestions. Dalby, Wales from Kilmarnock, Penrice, Miller. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll be out of. I think he probably wants to go abroad with his father's going to give him that advice because you'll see it as a stepping stone to the Premier League. Even now, if he does, he might even get a Premier League club straight away. So I don't see when and Miller happening. But all the other ones, remember we've still got. The guy coming in from Dundee as well. So
Nah,
we've been doing quite
Cameron.
well. Cameron, yeah, Cameron, who's been playing well for Dundee. So it's good to see we're starting to get a bit of Scottish backbone at the squad again.
To see, before we move on to some other topic, I was thinking, obviously Kieran Dowell was man of the match then for Birmingham yesterday, I believe, or the weekend there. Ben Davies has been exceptional apparently, and Scott Wright does what Scott Wright does, runs about the ball, beats a few men, and generally no final ball. But what did make me think was that it's not necessarily about the quality or ability that players got, because obviously some of these players have got ability and got quality. But what happens is when the Rangers, they sometimes don't make it. And what do you think makes it's such a tough place for them to actually succeed at?
It's mentality, but it's got to be. I don't think we've had it in the dressing room from enough to drive it. When you lose so many big characters that we lost, your Arfields, your McGregors, your Steve Davis. I mean, Steve Davis. You see the people I saw someone interviewed recently, and they said he was the best player he ever managed, and it was a big name. It's annoying. I can't remember who that was now. So these were big Rangers characters, Rangers fans. And if you take players like that out of the dressing room, then who have you got left? Because it is difficult to raise your game every 3 days. It is. I mean, even these players say when you're at Ibrox and you know yourself, and after that first 10 minutes, and like the way that it was going under Coman and Beale, and it must be so draining for the players. And don't get me wrong, they deserve it 100% the way they've been performing. But when you're getting the fans on your back after 10 minutes, and you need massive shoulders, and some people can handle that and some people can't handle that. And even is Coppin the answer? What do you think about Coppin, Gary? I'm not sure. The jersey is heavy, very, very true, Barry. The jersey is very, very heavy. I'm not sure if Coppin knows. He's signed some decent players that have got potential, but is he the man to sign the right type of players to put a Rangers title winning team on the park? Did you see the director of football we were linked with today as well? So we were linked with Stuart Webber, who used to be at Norwich, I think.
I think it might have been.
I
I suppose that we talk about pressure, and it's something I've been thinking about a few times a day, just when I'm thinking of the agenda. So, what makes somebody be able to handle the pressure that Kieran Dowell obviously couldn't, or Ben Davies couldn't? Ben Davies, quite obviously, when early on it seemed evident he didn't quite fit into the story, as Clement used to call it. But being able to deal with the pressure is sometimes taking the knocks, isn't it? And probably leads you on to what you're saying about Dessers and people, even Tavernier, maybe I'm accused of liking too much. But that ability to get up, knock down, get back up, get knocked down, so on, as some of these guys have to do. Colton was probably good for it for a period of time as well as you see guys like Arfield, Davies, and some of the challenge we have now is that there isn't that core of people that have been able to manage that situation.
Yeah, I think the club needs to help these young guys in that as well, because if it was me personally, it's very difficult now because social media is such a big part of like young kids' life when they're grown up, and they've got their Instagram, they've got their TikTok, and like the abuse. I mean, Rangers announced like it was a simple message today: "Happy birthday to Jack Butland," and the abuse
Yeah.
on the comments is like. And even like good Rangers fans are like, guys, what is going on here, man? Like, no wonder the guy's confidence is shot to bits because like the Rangers is only wishing him happy birthday, and everyone's like absolutely calling him every name under the sun. And you think to yourself, I mean, obviously a lot of these people are not actually Rangers fans; they're just people pretending to be. You've got that added in with the bangers that do send people abuse on social media, the players and stuff like that. So it's for me, if I was a young kid and I was playing football, I would try and stay away from all of that as much as I can. I would just be head down, train your ass off, have a good group of friends around you where you can have a bit of a social life that doesn't involve all that social media crap, and then just keep repeat because it must drag you down, all that negativity. It doesn't matter how much you're, like we say, you need big shoulders, you need this, but it's total different. Everything's different nowadays, and it's very difficult to. It just used to be a newspaper, and it would be the odd idiot giving you a bad review if you had a bad game. But now people can contact you all sorts of different ways, through email, through Instagram, through TikTok, and it is just constant, and it's mad the world we live in now, you know.
Do you know, it's been, I was reading Cole McKinnon, obviously Rangers viewed lots of good interviews, and one of the ones was about Cole McKinnon, and it kind of got me thinking. I think he talked about it being the right time to go. But what it did get me thinking about was him, Lowry, McPake, Kai Kennedy, even Nathan Patterson to a degree, and various other ones. What's the point? Dapo Mabude, Lovelace, tons of them. How much do you think the challenge around mentality is if you play for Rangers and you're in the best environment, with the best coaches, with the best opportunities, and generally win all these games and all the stuff that goes with it, how difficult is it to breed that kind of mentality into you to deal with the pressure when it starts to come on you?
I think it's difficult because your chances when you're a youth player is so limited at a club like Rangers. I mean, what annoys me about Lowry is Lowry actually came into the team and did really well. And what pissed me off really about Lowry was he came on, he scored a goal, he won man of the match against Livingston the next game. He played the next game and he was man of the match. And then as soon as the experienced guys came back, he just got bombed back to the bench. And then he could never ever. Anytime he got a chance again in the future, it was very difficult because it was like he knew that he had to be Pirlo. If he wasn't Pirlo, he wasn't going to be playing. And listen, people can say about, oh, he had a bad attitude, he had a bad this, but it's like that for every kid. Look at Rice. Rice recently got 45 minutes, and he wasn't even that bad. He wasn't brilliant, but the movement was crap for him. The team, it's so difficult for these guys to, when they get an opportunity, to stand out and actually stay in the team and stay in the team. It almost happened with Barry Ferguson. I mean, this is not just a new thing with Rangers. It's went back as far as, well, the 90s, early 90s. I started going to games and stuff like that. So it's went back all the way there. It's very hard for young players. It's not just Rangers, it's Celtic as well. They've got some look at JD's nephew or whatever it is, like kids like that are banging in goals and stuff like that. And you just it's so difficult to break in and actually stay in these teams. You have to be such a. It's so weird that teams like, I mean, Barcelona and Real Madrid can do it, and teams like that. I know they probably got the best. Man City's got the best players in the world, and even for them. But for us, it's just like it seems to just be with the quality just never seems to be there for them to be able to stay in the team.
I think, I mean, I suppose, and I'm not going to give a Celtic player a plug to any great degree, but I've seen a wee bit of Cash for Michael talking about that. The difference between a good player and a great player is that ruthless winning mentality. And you do wonder how much, if you come through an academy, you come through that different football environment nowadays, how easy it is to create that winning mentality. You can have all technical ability like Lowry and all these other ones potentially have, but to get to that next level, it's a lot more than just technical skills or football ability.
I think I don't like that. I think players are overcoached to death now as well. I think that was Comanche's problem, you know. I think like you imagine, like, I know I played football to a very, very low level. I'm not sure about you, Gary, but the most enjoyable thing was just like your manager was telling you what to do, but the most enjoyable thing was just going onto the park and playing football, you know. And nowadays, like, you have to be in this position when the ball's there at this time and this. It's so robotic, and even, I mean, I watch all of people that, well, I listen to all people speaking about young players, especially in Scotland, and they all say the same thing. The coaching has just went way too far. They're like, nobody's allowed to be a maverick anymore. It's all coached out of them. You have to pass it here. You have to pass. Even like even young wingers and stuff like that, when they break into the team, it's like it's so annoying, the fact that they can't be themselves. I mean, Burke, when he came into the Rangers team and stuff like that, players are not allowed to do that anymore. Look at Cantwell. Well, Comont took Cantwell off because he wasn't staying in the same position and he was trying to influence the game and stuff like that. It's just mad the way that players are overcoached nowadays.
Ricky, there's lots of questions in the covers. People, Barry and Nicholas, I want to know about the poster behind you.
My son is 5 and he's we're trying to get him to teach. He needs to speak. He needs to do better with his letters and his numbers in English and Greek. There's a few people in the comments. I'll send them the posters. They can learn as well.
What, the English part?
Both, exactly, mate. Exactly. So my wife has decorated the house with mask posters, which I'm not very happy about. They're bloody everywhere all over my house, and I'm like, "What are you doing, man?"
Right, let's take some questions. Alexander, what would you take for Cifuentes? I heard today that they are interested in him, but not at the money they originally agreed on it. So
that's up to Rangers to play. It's up to Rangers to see. He's done well since he's been there, so it's the same situation that we're in with Cherny. I don't know if you've seen Cherny's agent has chirped up and said, "Oh, he's not going to Rangers. No way is Rangers going to be able to sign him. He's wanted by teams in one of the top leagues." And he wants to play in one of the top 5 leagues, so his agent is chirping up already. So I don't think Cherny will be happy about that before such a big game on Thursday night. But we're in the same position with Cifuentes. If he's doing well in the Greek league, the fees, we've told you the fee, 3.5 million. So you either pay it, or we'll find a club that will pay it if you guys don't want to pay it. I mean, it was a bit weird the way that I would never trust the Greeks, even before I live here, so shush. But it's they just said, "Oh yeah, we'll give you 3.5 million for him and then he plays brilliant." And they go, "Oh no, we can't afford 3.5. We'll give you 2 million." It's like, nah. You said you borrowed him, you took him on loan. If he's playing well, give us the money we want, and it's up to Rangers if they accept or not. I've got a good one for you, Gary, because I saw, and in the comments as well, Igaman was linked with Seville, Marseille, and some other teams, and I reckon they're speaking about 10 million for. They might be coming in with a 10 million offer. Would you take 10 million for Igaman? I think I would too.
I would. I suppose it's all right in hindsight. We use that Morelos example, right? Everybody says that we should have took the 16 million that Leo was were supposedly offering at the time. And if you remember rightly, if we'd taken that money at that point in time, fans would have done an uproar because they didn't want him to go. So in hindsight, it was easy to sit there and say, we should have took the money for him, took the money for Kent, all the rest of it. I think as it stands now, Igaman's, if you buy a guy for 2 million, you get 5 times the amount of money. Irrespective of where they might go into 100 million in years to come, you're taking a gamble that injury, poor form. I suppose, a good example is Nathan Patterson now. I think he's a player, Nathan Patterson, but we if anybody thinks we didn't win a watch to get 12 million or whatever it was for a guy now that can't get a game for Everton, that's good business from our point of view at that time, because who knows where they would have went going forward. Yeah. So I would take 10 million for him. I think he's got potential to be a really good player, but beggars can't be choosers in some ways at this point in time, and we do need to generate income to allow us to continue to invest.
I'm the same, mate. I wouldn't. 10. Aaron's put a good point there. 10 million and a percentage of his next sale. Try and get a 10 to 20% sell on for his next move, and we cannot be, even with these new owners coming in. I mean, we should be getting a good money for, like you said, Davis and Dowell, maybe 6 million for the two of them. Say you get 3 million for Cifuentes, 10 million for Igaman, you're starting to get a decent pot of money, and I'm sure the 49ers will want to put some money into the transfer kitty. So if you get a good manager in there, whoever that will be, Benitez, Gerrard, we will see who is. Some of the names being linked are quite funny so far, so we will see. Then I think that could be a decent, pot. I know fans say we should keep him for one more season, Igaman, but it's a massive risk. It's a gamble, man. Can we afford the position we're in right now? We signed him. He's young. can we afford to keep the guy for one more season? Even he might not even be playing, because now we're struggling to find a position for him. We've got, I mean, Dessers is our number one striker all of a sudden. He's been unreal since Ferguson came in. So I'm actually interested to see what Egerman does when he comes back into the team after having this little rest. And I don't think he'll play at Parkhead ever. I think it'll be the same team that starts on Thursday night if everyone is fit. Then I think you'll go with a 5-3-2, and I think that's a good system to go to take on Celtic with. And I think that it'll be interesting to see after these two games, when Egerman comes back into the team, which he will, to see how he performs, if he can get that magic back that he had for that period of time.
Yeah. So just before we move back to the agenda, there's a couple of questions, Ricky. People are fascinated about what it's like to live where you live. So Linda and a few others, Nicholas is asking what it's like.
I live in Cyprus. It's not Greece. It's Cyprus. I live in the capital, Nicosia. So it's amazing. It's one of the places in the world with the highest sunshine rate. Easy for me to say. 300 and I think it's like 317 days of the year we get sunshine. So no complaints whatsoever. Food is fantastic. Very slow paced. Standard of life. Everything's very slow over here, so it's like modern. It's like going back in time a little bit, but I like that about it. It's very traditional place. And someone saying the thought I lived in UAE. No, I work in UAE.
Do you want to know? If you want to know any more about Ricky, just file the questions in. Don't you talk about Rangers? Just give them the top 10 questions to ask Ricky. We can learn all about you. Yeah, Barry's moving to where you are then. I don't know if that's because he wants to come side beside you or wants 317 days.
No problem, man. Come. Cyprus should be giving me a wage for
Cyprus
promoting the country like this,
So I was going to pick up on one of the things that I think I said on a group chat yesterday. It turns out that Tierney is a top European goal contributor in the Europa League, and Dessers is third with 7. I think Tierney's got 6 goals and 2 assists. Dessers has got 3 goals and 4 assists over the period of time, and it was actually fascinating seeing how high up the two of them were. And I had a wee look. They scored probably about 50 goal contributions between the two of them this season in League and Cup. I don't know about that. Are you reading all these comments about people asking you where you are and what you're doing?
People going on about tax exile, man. Come on, you'll get me in trouble here. Enough of that, Nicola. I knew it would be Nicholas or bloody Scotty would come out with a comment like that. No, amazing, mate. And you still get fans saying, should we sign Tierney? That's the Rangers fan for you. You still get people saying, should we sign Tierney? He's been. The thing is, you can't say he's been amazing every single match, but he's always been contributing, and he has been brilliant in Europe. And he probably knows that that's when he's in the shop window. And some of the games he lit up Ibrox. I remember when we beat, was it that Steaua Bucharest when he scored? He was just unplayable that night, and it was the same. We had 6 players that were absolutely sizzling in Turkey the other night, and he was one of them. He was absolutely brilliant. So of course there's going to be other teams interested in him, and at the end of the day he's going to have I'd love to see him at the club, but he's going to have a big decision to make at the end of the season, and it's we will see if we will see if he's going to be at Rangers next season or if he's going to move on to pastures new. I think it'll depend. His agent was very keen to say that he wanted to play in one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, but he was in one of the top 5 leagues playing for Wolfsburg, and he wasn't getting a game because it's
I've seen this one a lot. Would take Sima back if not Tierney. I'd take Tierney before Sima probably in a minute.
Me too.
Tierney offers so much more. And has offered so much more. I don't know how Sima's doing. I think he started quite well over there, but I'm not sure if he's kind of going as well. So see that obviously, as I say, Dessers and Tierney between them, 50 goal contributions. It does make you wonder where we'd be with a pretty poor season, but where we'd be if they two weren't performing at the level they probably have. I know Dessers gets so much up and down criticism, but of what they contributed must be the vast majority of our goals and assists.
But the problem, you hit the nail on the head there, Gary. That's the problem, is without them, where would we be? Haji's on the left, but he's went back to hide and seek Haji, I would say again, and it's disappointing because he was so brilliant against Celtic at Ibrox. When he's that sort of player, if he could be that player, even like 1 in 3 games or even a little bit more, if you could see more of that Hadji. But the thing is that even when he went on loan, this Hadji that you see is the guy that's hide and seek champion all the time. He's hiding behind a tree on a football pitch, which is a miracle, but he does it so well. And it's disappointing because we need players that are also contributing. I mean, our backup for Cherny is Ross McCausland. He's not got a look at, he's not had a look in basically all season. You know, he's never been getting minutes, he's never getting a chance. So it shows you the drop off in level there. So if these players do move on, Gary, because there's going to be interest. I tell you what, after that Fenerbahce performance, there'll be interest in Diamandi, there'll be interest in Cherny, there'll be interest in Dessers. Old Jose might come in with the old Turkish checkbook for Dessers. So we're going to have another massive, massive rebuild. And we're speaking about the players here that will probably be moving on that are contributing. So that's not even the players that are not contributing. So that it just shows you that when the 49ers come in, I tell you, they thought they had a big job at Leeds, but they're going to have an even bigger job when they get their head into Glasgow Rangers, that's for sure.
No, I was having a look earlier on. Actually, in terms of contracts, you've got Lawrence, Balogun, Hadji are all expiring. Cherny, Fernandez, and Caston Bierjo, who we still like to talk about. Loans are all ended in the pay. So that's plus 6 players down in terms of a squad straight away. But forget, there's nothing likely to stay. But what I did think about was looking at it. Raskin, Dessers, Sterling, Ridvan, and Butland are all the year after. They're all 2027, and Suter's 2026. Now, if I remember rightly, if you're 2 years away from a contract ending, that's your peak value time. That's when you start to look to whether you keep or sell players. So I think the interesting thing is someone will not necessarily the players that are going out of contract. It'll be the ones that.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You have to see who's back. We're back to the position though. Who wants them? I agree with you. I mean, why we keep getting into this position because we're such a badly run football club that all these players, their contracts are running down at the same time. It's absolute craziness. But we have to see. We need this takeover to go through as quick as possible. And I hope that they're looking at the squad right now. If we have a director of football, he should be looking at the squad right now. He should be speaking to even Barry Ferguson, and they should know, especially the guy, because they put the guy in there from Morocco, Isma, or however you pronounce his name. So they should be saying, look, you need to get this guy on a new contract. I don't mind, like, people think that, oh, you can't pay this player 25 grand a week, you can't pay this player 25 grand a week. If Dessers keeps playing the way that he's been playing, and we can get that performance out of him every single week, I don't mind giving Dessers 25 grand a week. I don't mind giving Raskin 20 grand a week. I don't mind giving players that are contributing and fit and that are like available all the time, giving them the wage that they deserve to be that type of quality professional footballer. You're Raskin and Suter and these players, they're not going to sign a contract at Rangers for 12 grand a week. They're just not, because they can go to the Championship in England, they get 3 times the money. They can go like anywhere, and you, especially Turkey in that as well, and get like 30, 40, 50 grand a week. Look at Lundstrom. Love Rangers. Okay, Rangers offered him what? It's 16, 17 grand a week. Fenerbahce offered him 30. Oh, love Rangers. See ya. Oh, straight away to Turkey. So that's the problem that you're dealing with. So we'll have to see what the budget is going to be when the 49ers take over. But they have to give the manager a chance. You can't bring in, it doesn't matter if it's Gerrard, it doesn't matter if it's Russell Martin, it doesn't matter if it's Rafa Benitez, if it's Barry Ferguson, it doesn't matter who the manager is. There's no way you can say go against Celtic with a 30 million wage bill and a 10 million transfer chest. That's just never going to happen. You've got to give the guy at least a chance to build a squad that's capable, like Gerrard was able to do at 55, and it's probably even a harder job now because they've had years to build with the Champions League money. So, but you've got to give the manager a chance.
So that takes me nicely, I suppose, on to the manager. There's obviously Ali McCoy said today, or yesterday, was it today, that Lampard was the one that got away. I think he's performed quite well at Coventry. Now, I remember podcasts, I remember media at the time, and no Rangers fan wanted Frank Lampard, so we kind of rewrite history and suggest it was we missed out on something that we wanted because he wasn't wanted. But it did make me think. Would you like, right? So I'm going to give you, forget the name, would you want somebody so 4 options, right? An experienced manager that's been successful, so your Benitez or Mourinho type guy, an EPL manager that's always been around the blocks like Dyche or Steve Cooper, a legendary name like Gerrard or Thomas Muller or Tony Cruz or somebody that should some legendary ex-player, or somebody like Adoni or Hurtseler, is it, that's young and up and coming, or somebody Scottish like McInnes or Robinson or Scottish League. So they've got different options, I suppose. So less about the name and more about the type and profile. I was thinking earlier on.
I think now I've changed my opinion. I was a Muscat man for ages, like Kevin Muscat. I was a little bit blinded by, okay, he's done so well, he's won these titles here, he's built this team, he plays this style of football, and I still think Muscat is a fantastic option in the future. But I think that we need to, our squad is so far off it domestically. We'll lack so much of the basic ingredients. And it's like nobody can understand how we play so well as we do in Europe. And we can speak about it and go, okay, because we're a team that play on the break, open spaces, blah, 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 blah. But we want to get back to the bread and butter. And the bread and butter is every 3 days, every 7 days, we need 24 players that are available to play. We're playing Celtic on Sunday, and I can name their team right now. Every single player is fit again. Every single player. It's unbelievable. Every single time we play them, they're at full strength. So why are we, every time we play them, I don't know how many we're going. I think we're doing well now. We've got a lot of players back, but we'll see what happens on Thursday. But every time we go into these games, we've got 4 or 5 players out. So I would like a British manager, a manager that understands the British game, that can get a bit of pace, get a bit of power, understand what it's like to go away to Aberdeen, away to Motherwell, teams that are going to come to Ibrox. And Motherwell didn't even play in a low block. Motherwell came to Ibrox and attacked us and actually played football, and that's why we were surprised. So it's not just about we struggle like breaking down a low block. We struggle in so many aspects of Scottish football, which is just crazy because Scottish football should be the easiest puzzle for any manager to work out. But the problem is, just to go on a little bit here with these foreign managers, is they look great on paper, but Gary, they're like, come on, they're like Jose Mourinho's worked it out in 10 seconds. He said philosophy. They've got this philosophy in their head, and Paul McGlenn, Clement, Pedro Caixinha, these guys, they don't understand that it doesn't matter what your philosophy is. Like Scottish football is such a weird, strange league, and you need to know what you're up against every time you go against these teams. And if you don't know that and you don't want to listen to, I don't think Alex Ray ever got through to come on once, because we never changed their style. We never, I mean, we had players, we never, I mean, look what happened on Thursday night when we changed their style now. So for me, I would like to see a British-based manager, and I don't know who that name is right now. Would I be against Gerrard? Folk are going mental. Gerrard's very interesting because it's 50-50. A lot of people are 50-50. I think if he came back, when he came back, a lot of fans would get behind him and they would... but would he get 3 years again? That's the big thing. Would you give Gerrard 3? Would he get that 3 years? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you're not going to give the guy 3 years, then I mean, but he, he brings the standards. But I don't think, Gary, it doesn't bother me about a manager failing at Aston Villa and failing in Saudi. Aston Villa was a very difficult job for Gerrard. The step up from like Rangers to the English Premier League now, going against the world's best managers, is very like the step up is absolutely ginormous, And he lost Bale, and it was like he was there to start with, and Bale's ego and everything like that. The total struggled at Villa, and then when they went to Saudi, they had 3 foreign players and the rest were all Saudi league players, and it was just all about money and everything across there. So you like Lampard, it shouldn't be us picking the manager, it should be the board, and we should have trust that they know who they're going to pick. So if they wanted Lampard and they said to Souness, give us advice, and he said bring in Lampard, they should have went with Lampard because they brought Souness in to give him the advice,
Yeah, no, the Gerrard, I'm not going to get into Gerrard one tonight. We'll save that for a special episode, but it does polarise debate. One of the things that did catch my butt was something I think Aaron has said, Gerrard with Barry's assistant. So forget about the Gerrard, but do you see Barry Ferguson being the type of guy that would be an assistant manager to somebody?
I do. I know that sounds crazy, and I know people are going to say, there's no way he's going to go from Rangers manager to assistant manager. But I think that he's done so well so far. He's surprised a lot of us with his maturity. And I think that if it was the right man, it would have to be the right man, not a Pedro Coutinho or I think I actually think he could work quite well. I mean, look how well Dessers is playing. So if that's Billy Dodds that's getting Dessers playing like that, you have to keep Billy Dodds on the coaching staff. If he's got Dessers playing, mate, Dessers has been unbelievable since these guys came in. So whoever's working with that guy on the training ground to get him to play like that, and if it's Neil McCann as well, then why would you not want to keep these guys? I mean, if we're a serious football club, right, and you bring in a director of football and the 49ers bring in 3 people to the board, Patrick Stewart's almost been there for a year by the time we're making this decision. So these guys, you've got 2 guys from the 49ers, and you've got a director of football, and we should be brave enough to say, right, look, what we need, we have Barry Ferguson in place, we have Neil McCann in place, we have Billy Dodds in place, goalkeeping coach. You bring in two your own guys, and this is the way that we want to go as a football club. I mean, that's what Celtic tried to do with what's the Newcastle manager's name again?
No, it's how Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe. That's what they tried to do to him, and he refused it, and then Andrew took it on. So you can do it. You can do it, and that's something. But it depends what happens till the end of the season. We're getting all staunch-eyed here with Ferguson, and he's the best ever and stuff like that. We know you want to see what happens on Thursday and Sunday. If we get knocked out from Fenerbahce and Celtic beat us 5-1, exactly, mate. We'll be on the pod on Monday going, "Oh, useless." What we all knew he was useless. He was shite at Alloa. He was crap at Clyde. So we'll see what happens the rest of the week.
So as always, there's tons of stuff you can talk about. I want to kind of preview the game a little bit then now. So we're going to go for the next 10 minutes or so before we finish. Going to the game 3-1 up, and I suppose the kind of key questions are, in terms of style of play, approach to the game. In terms of style, do you still see us looking at a 3-5 or 3-5-2 or whatever formation they might look to do? In terms of approach, do you think it'll be the counter-attack we go, or do you think you'll use Ibrox and go at them first? What's your thoughts now? How we'll go?
I think it'll be 100%. It'll be the same formation, and I mean, you remember, last week we were able to counter-attack them pretty fast. So they need to score 2 goals. So it is all set up nicely for Ferguson to pick the same team. Just speak to the fans before the game in the programme and stuff, and just tell the fans, look, just if we do lose a goal, just calm down. Don't get on the players' backs. Let's get behind it. Let's get Ibrox absolutely rocking. Because if we can get that first goal, then it almost kills the tie stone dead. Me personally, I would like to see Sterling come in and Yilmaz move to left back. Well, obviously Balogun's going to come in for proper, but I would like to see that bit of physicality brought in, especially with Sterling and Balogun. That would be the 2 changes I would like to. Well, Yilmaz will be a third. Well, he's in the team already, so 2 changes. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to see. But Ferguson will probably start with the same team, except for Balogun for proper. Probably Yilmaz will be at right back, and maybe bring Sterling on later. So that I would bring Sterling in, but we'll see what happens. But keep it the same. It worked an absolute treat. The only thing I'll say is, I don't think they can be as bad as they were on Thursday night, and I don't know if we can be as good again as we were on Thursday night, because that was like a dream performance. I mean, we did it against Dortmund as well, but we'll have to be almost equally as good as when we played against Dortmund. We should have been 3-1 up against Dortmund. I remember Dortmund were the better team in the first half. I think it was 2-1 at half time, and I thought, oh, they've got us here. But we were outstanding in that second half against Dortmund in that game. Tavernier scored, and then Morelos scored, and that idiot ref chopped it off, which was ridiculous. So we'll need that sort of sim. And you know what I mean? These players, they've never ever, no player. Fenerbahce, I was a bit disappointed in their crowd. I know I've heard a few guys that were at the game, and they said it was pretty hostile and stuff like that. But I think Ibrox when it is absolutely crackling, like hopefully it is on Thursday, there's just nothing like it whatsoever. And get that roof, get the stadium shaking, and the players will be like, what the hell? Turks normally, I'm not going to put the jinx on it, they don't normally travel that well. So hopefully we can get it over the line and get into the next round would be fantastic. What about you? What would you be, what changes would you make?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this today, right? So one thing, I suppose you can answer this for me very quickly, because I don't know, is Proper out? Is he actually out? Will he
Yeah,
be?
well, Butland's headed them into next season, mate. He's out.
I mean,
I think he's because of the week. I think it's you're not allowed to play for a week because of the.
that's
Yeah, you're
was
not.
a concussion sub in it. He might not. He might just know as a sub.
No, I think it was definitely a concussion sub because he knocked him into next week, mate. So I don't think he's.
So what I was going to say, the interesting point I was thinking of that is, if Proper was fit and the Proper, Balogun and Suter fit,
It could be an idea, right?
Would you went with the three of them and then who goes right wing back? Is it Tav or is it Sterling? You're not likely to drop Tav, I suppose, at that point in time, Sterling. But I suppose that's the dilemmas. Certainly, I think Jeff will play because he's height rather than Yilmaz. I think the way they play, you're going to play Jeff his height against the fullback. I actually don't think he will play the same formation. So obviously played the 5-2-2-1 was kind of what it was. With Diomande and Cherny behind. I think he might still play 5 at the back, but I think it'll be 5, then 3 in the middle, and actually go a bit more solid in the middle with Diomande, Barron, and Raskin, and then maybe Cherny behind there. So same players potentially, but different.
But different formation. But I think he'll still want to press them because the reason it worked so well, obviously Dessers held the ball fantastic, but Diamande's pressing was spot on. So you need to be able to get up the park. So I get what you're saying, but it's a big pitch at Ibrox as well. So hopefully we don't want to see the last 10 minutes.
No.
For 90 minutes at Ibrox, we just don't want to see that. We don't want to be defending, trying to hold on to the league, and I don't think we will be. I think the fans will demand that the team.
Do you think though that last Thursday's formation was a one and done? Now Mourinho knows it now, and in some ways you should go back to the 4-2-2.
I mean, but how? In what way? So you're speaking about maybe Tavernier right back, and then Suter, Balogun, Yefte, and then I mean they might surprise you, but it's the same problem again as who you playing on the left. Do you trust Hadji? I mean, it's a Turkish team. I know, but he probably will go Hadji because it's the Turkish element, Galatasaray, and he thinks that Hadji can give him that massive performance if he's in the shop window as well, because he knows he's going to be going then. It will be interesting. I mean, Ferguson's probably going to pull a rabbit out his hat again, so it will be very, very interesting.
I just think it's too easy, Ricky, to say we'll go with the same formation in some ways because.
Yeah, no, I mean, he shocked us. I mean, nobody predicted last week. Nobody predicted, even when the team lineup came up, we thought it was Yilmaz left wing. I mean, because we've got it so ingrained in our heads that Rangers are only allowed to play 4-2-3-1. We just assume that that's what it's going to be all the time. But they might at Ibrox, you're right, there could be. I mean, Ferguson, to be fair to Ferguson, he's got everything pretty much spot on. And I think he's got, I really like his coaching team. I think they've got good input from McCann. Billy Dodge gives you something different. And obviously we've got the Moroccan magician that gives you something different for the foreign guys as well. So I really like his management team. So it will be very, very interesting. I mean, if you want to surprise, you do want to try and surprise Mourinho, but it's got to be... what will we end up too open if you play against them 4-2-3-1? Will it be will the game look different than what happened? It's always going to be different when you're playing at home. A 2-goal lead is a difficult one to
and that's a worry. You don't want to go too defensive in the 2-goal leads because I suppose you look at the Spurs game. The Spurs game went 4-2-3-1, didn't they? Again, man was on the left hand side.
Yes.
So there's different ways you can do the same thing. I suppose the challenge is going to be that they will be dumping the ball in the box in it, so you need that physicality to match up with them.
I mean, even if you go 1-0 down, you just need to score. You just need to get that goal, because you know what Ibrox is like. It's going to be absolutely crackling at the start of the match, and if the team starts well, that continues. And if you get that early goal, then that's the stadium. Like, the stadium's absolutely rocking. You're 3 goals ahead. And that's the dream scenario, is to get the goal in the first 15 minutes. Because that's what we did against Leipzig. That's what we did against Dortmund. That's what we did. Every big game we played at Ibrox, we always managed to get the first goal, and it made such a difference. These teams have got quality, so they're always going to have moments, and they're always going to have moments in the game.
Nicholas has said the Eggman might start Dessers in case. I think Dessers is going to start, definitely.
Dessers is R9 just now, man. There's no way Dessers is no starting. If Ferguson doesn't pick Dessers, Jose will go into the dressing room and demand he picks him, and he absolutely loves him after last week. So Dessers is going to play, that's for sure.
Can people believe Ricky's saying absolutely Dessers must play?
No, but it's when I'm not going over this again, man. You give me a headache, man.
As Aaron says, Eggman, Czerny, Dessers, I think, had the game been tighter and not 3-1 up, that probably would have been a good shout. But the fact that I think the 3-1 thing makes it difficult in some ways. If you've drawn a game away from home, or it's very narrow, it kind of dictates what you're doing. The fact you're 2 goals up and you're trying not to lose anything as opposed to trying to win anything, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, you just want to get it over the line. That's it, mate. You just want to get it over the line and get into the main thing is to get that money, get into the next round, and that's us into the last 8 of Europa, because it's the last 16 has always been the bogey round every round. It's every time we've not got to the final, we've always went out in the last 16. So if we can get past this round with this squad of players, it'll be, and I think the players will be up for it as well. I mean, they must love the adulation they get when they play in Europe, and the players love. I mean, I think that's the problem with these players is there's enough special nights at Ibrox been in the last 3 years to keep them excited and keep them happy. It's not okay. The league is all negative all the time, and they're getting abuse and stuff like that, and they deserve it. But there's enough good nights in there. It's like, this is what Rangers can be, So hopefully we get it over the line, and we're into the last 8. And I'm hoping the dream night for me is Rangers get through, both English teams get knocked out, and a few Ajax get knocked out, and then the tournament really opens up.
So who have we got? Let's do a very quick. Not that we know much about these things. The 8 games. I'm just going to see if I can see it there. So we've got Man United against Real Sociedad. Ricky, let's just give us your predictions while we go through. Who do you think are through? Man U, Real Sociedad.
Real Sociedad.
You need to remind me some. Tottenham play against Alkmaar. Is that right?
Yes, Alkmaar go through.
Rangers fenerbahce.
Rangers definitely. Rangers through.
Who else have we got then? Lazio. I don't know who they're playing. I can't remember who they're playing against now.
Roma versus
Bilbao.
Yes, so that I'll say Roma go through in that one.
Right. Who else have we got? We've got Bodo Glimt. They're 3-0 up, so they should be
through. They're definitely through. They played as good as us in the last round. We're missing
Leon were 3-1 up in their game. However, they were playing.
They're a strong team. I'd like to see them out. Like they're the only team in the last. Like, they gave us a proper doing at Ibrox. They look really good, and they've managed to keep. I'm surprised they kept some of the talented players in January, because there was rumours that Cherky and stuff like that, he's up there with Dessers, and your Czerny is like your top assist guy in the tournament. There was rumours that he was going to Liverpool and that. So anyway, we will see.
Frankfurt, who they got?
Frankfurt, are they in it? I didn't even realise they were in it. Are they in it? I don't know.
They were there. So anyway, I think if we get through, we'll play against Roma or Bilbao. I think the other one's potentially Sociedad versus Lyon, if that works out the way you're talking about there. So we could be heading for a semi-final against Lyon again.
Man, no, but rather Man United. Sorry, Man United beat Sociedad. No, that's a tough. But like I said, I mean, this is the exact.
You can't score them really. Most of those games you couldn't say who's going to win them really. That's
it. I mean, like Frankfurt, Ajax. People would probably have on paper Ajax to knock Frankfurt out, because they've been doing all right. They've got a young coach in who's been building the team up again. So it's very interesting with this tournament. And it'll be interesting to see on Thursday who's left in the hat, and Rangers all the way to the final. Please, no penalties this time.
So give us a score prediction then for Friday, for Thursday night.
Draw. I'll go same as Dortmund. I'll go 2 each.
Goal scorers?
Czerny and Dessers.
It's going to be in it. The two men at the moment.
What about yourself?
you know what's funny? I don't know. It must have been some of the algorithm on TikTok off seeing these European games. So the Dortmund game, the Red Star game, all these ones, watching them and phenomenal. I think it's an early start, an early goal, and it could be 2 or 3-1. You say Turkish teams sometimes don't travel that well.
Yeah, they normally don't. They normally don't like the big atmosphere and that when they're away from home, like, you know. Hopefully it's cold. Hopefully it's nice and cold. It was cold in Turkey as well, I think, but I hope it's nice and cold in Glasgow as well.
It's a European. I mean, a European Thursday night. The tap pen would be a good one. I've not seen that in a while.
I've not seen. Can he still take penalties, man? He's not hit one for a while. Apology to Rangers. Column doesn't give us penalties anymore, you know.
And even Europe, you don't get even some of the bizarre things you get in Europe. So hopefully we will be back on Friday night, and we should have all 3, or at least 3, potentially 4. Who knows?
Where's Ross? Ross, what have you done to us? You've stood us up, man. Where are you?
But we've still managed to cover almost literally 1 hour as it stands there. So please, hopefully you've enjoyed this evening. Thanks. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all those other things we ask you to do all the time because it helps the pod. We will be back on Friday night, hopefully into the last 8 of the Europa League, and we will be previewing the game against Celtic on Sunday lunchtime. It's lunchtime, isn't it? Sunday lunchtime?
Yes.
Yes. So big weekend, a busy pod on Friday night, and we will see you all then. Take care now. Bye. No, press the wrong button.